Yeah. What up? Huh? What up? Burn live. Marijuanically keeping you connected. Hashtagging these red eyes. Keeping under age, smoking off social media. Killing ourselves for your entertainment. Sitting here with friends and family, starting a cannabisation. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another show. I'm this. Hey. Hope y'all can smoke weed to this one, because this is gonna be one of those type of show that definitely y'all not gonna be able to get rid of me. Hope y'all get ready for another show. Welcome to another show. Welcome to another day. We got a lot of things going on, a lot of things to cover, and to our segment. So I appreciate people coming through, showing their support. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Whenever time that you're watching this, I highly appreciate. There are a lot of things, like I said, going on. We got two different wars that we are responding to. We got Formula 51 race going on. We got a lot of terrorist attacks that are claiming to be happening here in America. We got Elon Musk destroying woke liberty on justice system about Trump. You also got what's going on. You got a lot of NBA trades that's happening early that's going on. You got a lot of police brutality. You got a lot of things going on. A lot of things destroyed. What it say? Chicago, Deadly's block. A lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. The war in Israel is the biggest thing going on. There have been a lot of protesting here in America at different areas. Been letting a lot of illegal immigrants and stuff like that has been crossing the border. We will be discussing some of these stories and more later on. That's going on. I will be trying to crack jokes about some of these things so they won't be so uptight. You won't be trying to take me all serious like I'm the most serious person in the world. By me saying that, I do already have a story that I want to get off into because it is already making headlines. Is all about the illegal immigrants, and now that we actually got people who's been talking about these legal immigrants from another perspective, actually from the people that are coming over here in America that have been putting out their perspective, that have been doing news coverages and stuff like that. So now we get to understand how they think and how they look in life. Now, me as an American citizen and you're a legal immigrant and you're coming over here, congratulations. I highly appreciate it. But for the people that's been coming over here being very disrespectful, not evading the laws and rules, calling us American citizens, they don't care to respect us, that's gotta stop. And this is a story just so you can hear from a perspective that you thought you'd never hear from before. So without a further ado, let's dive in.
The United States. And then our politicians turn around and tell us that, well, the illegals are coming because of climate change, right? This is what they're saying. But that's just not the case. Okay. So this guy, Irino Mujica, who's a leader of one of these massive caravans, is actually going to talk about how this is a coordinated invasion of the United States and Biden is allowing it. It is really eye-opening stuff to listen to this guy explain what's actually happening. So let's go ahead and play this clip.
Now, the Biden administration has been, in a way, completely incompetent with immigration policies, that they are portrayed to be human, but they're completely on the opposite, on the contrast, they're inhuman of what is happening right now in South America, Central America, and in the North borders. Your perception about that?
I believe that the Biden administration has dropped the ball. Immigration, a lot of the countries are fueling are actually this crisis. Immigration crisis is not a crisis that is about. It is a lot of the people are being, harsh conditions, but a lot of the countries are fueling this immigration by providing, in a way, transporting people, letting people in and using them as a way to all the people that are working with Lopez Obrador to make sure that a lot of this immigration goes straight into the United States.
Do you think that immigration is being weaponized?
That definitely is being weaponized against the United States, against the Joe Biden administration.
I think we as American citizens have a problem of understanding that anything and everything we do has some type of conception to the end. There's some type of end goal. There's some type of value or description that's going on. Don't nobody do anything for no apparent reason without something that's according to documents. I'm not gonna get paid to do nothing. Nobody's in America is gonna work for free. There's people that donate to the cause knowing that they can use it for a tax write-off. You got to understand this legal immigration problem that's happening is because y'all want to come here because y'all been taught false hope to believing in something that you truly want to believe in. Now, if you truly believe in this, it's like you smoking weed. Now, I've been told to make sure that I bring up a lot of pothead analogies since this is a marijuana channel that I do. You supposed to smoke weed, come on here and enjoy yourself, learn a little bit things about things that are going on in the world. So we're smoking weed. And they say, look at here, you know what I'm saying? I don't want you to stop smoking weed. I'd rather for you to leave about this country because there are better countries that provide for you. Would you go? Knowing that there's another place out there that's going to provide for you that's better. When you're told that and then you see for yourself that it's not, why don't they try to go back? Some people have actually documented that their home where they left was in a better situation than them trying to come to America and see the corruption, the so-called corruption when it's overpopulated that's going through. I don't think it's overpopulated. I think it would just move too fast. No, did nobody have time to organize what was really going on? And if they had time to organize, there'd have been more structure.
Joe Biden administration has lost the ball, has lost the power, and America has not been paying attention to what's happening. Mexico is being usually ganging up with all the countries to make sure that all this immigration goes straight into the United States, and that's what it is. I mean, I went through the Darien, I went to, since Panama, I was out, it was close to 7,000, and all these people went through, and after that, every country has been just providing the rights.
I worry that we're all
Sorry
kind of
about that.
disconnected.
Did you ask me something? What?
It's fine.
Okay, good night.
Charging them $20, $30, or $40, and then just pushing them in, all the way to the Mexican border. Then when you get to the Mexican borders, you don't have the mass deportation. All they do is just hold them up and weaponize them and let them go. And make sure that the Joe Biden gives them money.
The question I have is, what does he mean by weaponizer? When he says weaponizer, what does he mean by that? I'm curious. What does he mean by weaponizing? Also, before I keep going, I would like to give a shout out to New York Cannabis Conservative Pothead Society 2, Out Loud Smokers, Pride Nation, Stoner Life. I'm gonna start giving out shout outs to everybody that approves my videos and share my content out. I know that I share a lot of contents a day, and a lot of people don't like sharing all my content or that deny me. So from here on out, in the beginning of my shows, I am going to start shouting out them every time, every day that they give me the proper procedures of sharing out my content. But
Money. But as an American citizen, I would say do not give Mexico or any of those countries that are completely responsible with immigration given 0 cents. And the Joe Biden administration has lost the ball. Does not know what to do with immigration, has been busy another thing, and has lost a lot of the power, or hasn't even called the countries into sitting down and make sure that he finds a way to stop this immigration, this bleeding.
Again, this is supposed to be Kamala's job, right? This is supposed to be Kamala's job. Kamala went down there to Central America, Latin America, to, again, discuss the core causes of immigration, which, again, they said was climate change. Now, they've changed the narrative, and they say it's destabilization, where it's because the United States is oppressive, and, we toppled the dictators there, and we've destabilized their economies. You know what they say. You know the narrative. But all the while, what's really happening is that these people are getting played. And honestly, I'm not even sure if they're getting played because I think they want this, right? I think they want this. I think
Same thing I just said. Same thing I just said. You want us to believe that y'all where y'all stay is worse than where it is here. So we like, okay, come here. And then people preach to y'all, oh, you should come here, you should do this. This is the place to be, this is the place to go. You should do what you need to do to get here. Okay, cool. Do that. Be a part of us. But then when you find out it's not all what it's meant to be or what it's cracked up to be, don't get mad. Don't yell at us like they're doing in oh, let me bring up that story. Like they doing in New York. New York, they're yelling at us already. They're telling us we're the bad guys, and they're demanding that we take care of them. And we like shit. We can barely take care of ourselves. I'm hearing the stories every day about how we can barely take care of ourselves. Now let me play this story right here for y'all.
This is Layla.
To listen
She's our
to.
Salesforce release manager.
As the city shelter system buckles over the influx of migrants, officials coming up with new ideas on where to house asylum seekers. One new idea, the mayor suggested the city could pay people to house migrants in their apartments.
Outside a hotel on the west.
Would y'all smoke with a person that's getting paid more than you freely, not working? Would you smoke weed with somebody who's from another country who you don't know what type of disease they brought over here with them? And yes, people are like, oh man, that's inhumane for you to think like that. How can you talk like that? Bro, you wouldn't even let a bum come into your house and smoke weed with you because you don't know where his lips been. You know that he been going through the trash. So how is you gonna sit up here and appreciate and thank an immigrant to come in your house? Oh man, come in my house. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get paid. I'm gonna smoke some weed with you. But then he's not gonna try to look for a job because he really can't. Then the government's gonna give him a check that's way 10 times bigger than a check that you have ever seen in your life. So what you gonna do then? What are you gonna do then? And I know a lot of people that watch this show now gonna think to themselves and say, you know what, that ain't happening to me. What if it do happen to you? What if Nevada, New Hampshire, Utah start saying, you know what, we're gonna take in illegal immigrants. We're gonna be a seeking asylum too. And we're gonna start paying people. I'm in a studio apartment. You think I'm finna? Yes, I will. How much you paying me? You know?
Outside, a number
You gotta
of
think like
migrants are
that.
refusing to leave after the city sent buses to take them to a new shelter in Brooklyn.
New York City is offering migrants a free one-way ticket to anywhere in the world. City's established a new re-ticketing center in Manhattan where asylum seekers can pick up a ticket.
Now, they had that same opportunity out here in Nevada. I'm gonna say like 4 years ago. The homeless is bad out here. And a lot of people were yelling and claiming that only thing they wanted to do was just get up out of here. They just wanted to leave. So this nice lady, I'm gonna never forget her. Never forget her. Took it upon her hand, funded some money to give you a one-way ticket out, but you could not return. You was on a do not return list. And I was always curious about how the do not return list policy works and how do you restrict that. Is like once the person leave and they try to book a ticket back here through plane bus, what they get denied, like is a red flag that pops up. Oh man, you can't go to Nevada. That'd be cool. Restrictions like that would be cool and awesome and necessary for things that are going on. But how are you going to do that for illegal immigrants when they probably mostly don't have the proper paperwork? What about those that don't have the proper paperwork here? Do we give them like new names or something? Like, how can you pass around and send around a person that doesn't have the proper illegal papers to be here? How do you assess that? You write his name down on a piece of paper, you send it to the government, and they be like, who the hell is this?
New York City has begun paying migrants to leave the city. Now, this is shocking because it was New York that claimed they wanted migrants to come to New York. You may think I'm over exaggerating this, but here is the governor of New York saying it just a couple of months ago.
We want people to come here, despite where they came from or despite the circumstances that drove them to this country, into this state. We say you are welcome here. We are welcome with open arms, and we'll work to keep you safe. We'll not only house you, but we'll protect you. And the richness of the culture and the diversity and the food and the restaurants that we know are going to be coming because of these efforts are beyond measure. It's an extraordinary part of our story. And it's woven into the story of New York, and it makes us more vibrant.
So the governor of the good state of Texas started sending the migrants because New York requested them, right? Then all of a sudden, the New York mayor started calling the Texas governor racist for sending the migrants that they requested.
Want to earn more? Want to weigh up where your hard work is guaranteed to pay off? Join the
everybody. I'm not saying everybody, but bro, for the people that finds a way to throw racists into a situation, be saying somebody's racist for doing something or saying something or being opinionated, it's crazy. We in America gotta stop that. We gotta stop that. Listen, check this out. We got to stop that before they make it a law that you got to stop that. You don't understand how ridiculous you can take a situation and blow it up and blow it out of proportion to where nobody is feeling you and understanding where you're coming from. So therefore, if you're in that realm, in that realm where you're everything is racist, you gotta stop, dog, before the government and these states take over. Like, you know what, if you say this is racist, then you go to court and find out it's not a racist, you got 5 years. Then you're gonna be upset. Then the justice system is technically racist, and they're gonna be nitpicking on black folks. Why? Because black folks are gonna be the only people that truly be on this racist bullshit. Like, we gotta stop pointing the finger about racism and get to the heart and meat of the problem to say what is going on and say, okay, this is the problem. Okay, this is the problem. We just can't keep saying racist. I'm tired. And especially before white people come back and start saying that they're gonna be racist. Now, we always was picking on people, and then you know what black people like? See, I told you, capiche, I told you. Look, they were racist. They wasn't racist at first. You're pushing buttons. It's like poking a bear. It's like threatening a man every day that's tied up. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. And then undo his handcuffs and say, I'm gonna kill you. You think he's not gonna try to attack you back? We gotta stop with this racist shit, man. We really
racist for sending the migrants that they requested.
Another war of words between Mayor Adams and Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
CBS 2 political reporter Marsha Kramer reports that the mayor insists the migrant crisis is about race for the Republican governor.
Forced to cope with a flood of asylum seekers and with city services taxed to the max, Mayor Adams fired his big bazookas once again at Texas Governor Greg Abbott. He accused Abbott of using those coming to America as political pawns and, more explosively, of playing racial politics.
I cannot ignore the fact that Governor Abbott sent migrants only to cities where there are black mayors, and is undermining our cities.
But the buses kept coming because migrants were being put up in hotels and given housing in places.
That argument where he says that the mayor is putting people on where there are black mayors, but you got a white governor. And he only sent them to states, because he sent them to Massachusetts too, so don't get it twisted. Unless Massachusetts run by a black mayor, I'm not sure. But he sent it to places where y'all accept it, seek them, Silence. Circumsilence. I can't even say it right now. So how can you sit up here and complain when you was like, hey, come on, bring them. We welcome them. This picture right here alone that I paused it at explains a picture that you can only paint so beautiful, only so well. I see tall buildings. I hear every day about New Yorkers not wanting to really go to work and staying at home and work from home to where those buildings up there that you see are empty. Wow. Crazy, y'all. Crazy is that they finna start putting illegal immigrants. I'm gonna start saying illegal immigrants in these empty buildings instead of the homeless, instead of your hardworking ass. Put you in one of these nice ass buildings. Okay, you move up to here, and we're gonna put the poor in the poorest neighborhoods, so we keep the poor poor. Would that be mean? Am I mean for saying that? Am I mean for thinking like that? Like, yo, we gonna do some things a little different. We finna shake up the industry. We finna put people in a little bit better areas, and people that's in poor areas, we're gonna leave them asses in poor areas. That where we don't have the mix up, the mess up of what's going on, or we don't got the feng shui of what it looks like, because we worried about some request, huh? Is that what we looking for? Is that what we focused on now? Because I'm seeing buildings, tall buildings, and I heard the stories about how empty these buildings are. Yet again, I'm gonna say that twice. So therefore, are y'all putting them up in these buildings?
Like New York and Chicago. The migrants even started demanding to be taken care
Look at
of. For instance, in New York City, migrants refused to leave the hotels for 10 cities that New York City.
That man with the red hat got that St. Louis on. It be killing me. I guess I should be more appreciative to see my hometown, my St. Louis baseball team, and other state, St. Louis, where I represent. But it'd be weird sometimes to see that in where the places it is seen. Look, I see St. Louis doing the immigration problem. You don't see no other sports. You know what I'm saying? What is that? New York City home something. Well, they look like a blue security guard right here. News cameras everywhere, but you got this guy right here representing with the St. Louis.
Created. They believe they had the right to be put up in hotels. I'm not joking.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Moore. We begin with breaking news. Some asylum seekers are pushing back on a plan to move them to a new shelter in Brooklyn. Some even refusing to leave the Midtown Hotel where the city has been housing them.
Even in Chicago, the migrants started complaining about having to sleep outside in tents. They demanded better, saying that their conditions were like being in concentration camps in World War II. That's what they said. Listen to the clip.
I am with United Giving Hope, which is a non-for-profit organization that serves humanity beyond borders. Today, as a citizen of the United States of America, knowing how great our nation is, knowing how rich we are in many aspects, and knowing the values that we have as Americans.
How rich are we in aspects? See, I used to give speeches like this and did not know how to give proper speeches. I could probably look at that person and say that was a dumb idiot person that was probably talking, didn't know what he was talking about, even though I knew what I was talking about just a little bit. But when you're going against a city and you put it on national television, you gotta come with the numbers and the facts and the position to where you can lead the conversation forward. I think that is fore and foremost. You cannot try to paint a picture for people, because people see pictures differently. What people don't see differently, where people get along all the same, is numbers. Hey, my city, America's rich, gratefully, with plenty of properties, open empty buildings on such street over to such street and such street, and I demand that my illegal immigrants get these buildings and get housed. This is the thing that you promised us here in America. See how you're going directly at the city, naming things that actually people can go look up and be like, you know what, that person is right, that person is correct. That's where I'm saying it needs to be a better format. When you get on television, you want to go against the city and you want to talk about them, which I have no problem doing. Just be extra more informative on what you finna bring to them, so when you bust in their heads, there's nothing that they can say or do. You see what I'm saying? That's one thing I notice when I be hearing, even though the news people are gonna cut your video up, so the more information you bring, the less footage you probably be on the news. I can also just probably say that too in the same token.
This is unacceptable, inappropriate treatment of human beings. And if we want to look at history in America and in general, what has been taught to us, there was a leader in Germany years ago, and his name was Adolf Hitler. And he came into office for a few months, and he created concentration camps. This is not the exact same thing, but
So why would you bring it up? Why would you provoke fear into people? That's literally all she did, y'all. And I want to get to this point right here. I was waiting for her to say that. That's nothing but fear. That's the only thing you're doing is provoking fear. Why is every time in a job somewhere in America, when you want something done, it's fear? True indeed. When you see robbery, get down on the ground, I'm gonna blow your head off. You on the ground. We gotta understand some things, man. We gotta understand the situation, how it's been looked at.
it's very much a parallel of taking human beings and telling them that they are less worthy of being allowed to simulate into our society. This is not the answer of herding them into a tent city.
And let's not forget the protests in the streets by New Yorkers over how much the city was spending on the migrant crisis. They're throwing punches at each other.
A demonstration over the ongoing migrant crisis quickly turns violent. Protesters throwing punches, kicking, even choking each other. This chaotic scene unfolded at the doorstep of Gracie Mansion on Manhattan's Upper East Side. The NYPD made several arrests.
You know, one thing I always find interesting about stories like this is how the mainstream media is essentially ignoring this story. Check this out. This is Ground News, and this is a story that this video is about: one-way plane tickets being offered by NYC to migrants. And here on Ground News, you get to see how 59% of the coverage of this is being it. This Mike, whose organization? Now this can get through.
This is
Now, come from Ground Detail. Who will you now go is an amazing source to respond to exactly that. Listen to him.
Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this.
The thing is, though, because I gotta learn that I gotta start cutting videos and stuff like this and not playing videos so long. But we really be sitting here chilling, man, just be thinking about things and wondering what be going on, be smoking weed, be doing things, be going strong. What are some good topics that y'all be wanting me to talk about? People will be telling me because I talk about politics that it's hard for them to convert over into my conversations because they can't get along with the conversations that I be talking about. I was like, but these things are important. When are we gonna start talking about things that are important as potheads, showing that we have the same concept, same mindset as anybody else? When are we gonna stand up and sit up and straighten up and show us as an adult. We can have the most best conversations about weeds and sound so intelligent, like we know everything in the world, and that's beautiful because everybody can learn about weed and learn how to good to grow. But when can we start showing the other side of that intelligence, showing that we just not just one decided, but we talk about everything. You know what I'm saying? I really can talk about anything. I can go pull up a comic book story and get into some depths and be like, okay, let's sit down and break this story down that this guy said about this comic book, and do y'all agree or disagree? And what do y'all think about in sports? You know what I'm saying? I can go pull up a sports quote real quick, and you know what I'm saying, we can break that down and discuss that. It's really like, to be honest with you, yes, I can talk about anything and discuss everything. You know what I'm saying? I believe anybody in this podcast business can. You know what I'm saying? But yet again, I see like the Noriegas doing the big interviews with all the big rappers and talking about things that going on to where they're bringing up good rap songs, but then they don't ask the questions or talk about the things that I feel that really matters. Like, come on, bro. Like, you have Lil Wayne, Dr. Dre, Too Short, Method Man, Red Man, Fat Joe. Man, hey man, what do y'all think about, you know what I'm saying, the president, man? You know what I'm saying? I want to hear, what do these, you know what I'm saying? What is your ideal thought about the president? You know what I'm saying? What do you think about the streets, the homeless problem, especially in New York? Joe, what do you think about that, bro? Why you not trying to help clean up the streets? Meth? You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all with these immigrant backgrounds, Cardi B. I wonder, these things are really going on, but yet again, you can't ask a black man about politics, dog. They're gonna give you the middle finger, like, fuck you, man. What are you bringing that shit up, man? Like, I'm just trying to make sure my kids eat. Okay, so you don't vote. So you trying to say you don't vote? You don't look at the news? You don't pay attention to what's going on? You can't sit up here and keep playing dumb like you don't see what's going on. I'm tired that my black community pretend like they don't see what's going on. There is a black channel, Comedy Hype, where they take the chance and talk about actually politics thing. They're one sided on it, and I think that's kind of bad. They're really one sided on it. I think, you know what I'm saying, having a real broad look and just quit looking at racism through everything, it gives me a headache. It makes me lightheaded in the head to think about how much racism that people really be thinking. Okay. So everybody growing weed in the cribs now. If you not growing weed in your crib, you know somebody growing weed in your crib. So that's the look that you got going on. That's what's up. All right. You're growing some hybrid, growing some what? Some sativa, some indica. You smoking real good. You celebrating with your friends. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first went to Washington and I drove around and I got to see everybody like, hey man, try weed, try this weed out, try this out. It was cool. And you can probably say, look up, you know what I'm saying, do the research ourselves and be like, most area, regional, small area, middle class area where weed is growing, where neighbors are growing weed, that's probably zero crime, no hate. Everybody sharing weed. Hey neighbor, I'm out of weed. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get my best to next week. I'm almost done. Oh, here you go. Boom, bam. Sharing the weed, making sure that you go through the 3 process steps correctly. I feel it. Working hard at your job, doing what you got to do just to maintain. I feel it. When you saying that people are just like structurally hitting at you from all angles, man, this just like life. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about life. Just talking about regular old life. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what people want to see is just a regular life. But yet again, I said this yesterday. For us to see regular life, we're gonna have to go out and shake hands. Now, me personally, I kind of got out of the shaking hand routine, but what I mean by shaking hands is we got to get back out to the meet and greeting of everybody. You know what I'm saying? You would have thought with the social media area that this would have been a lot easier to do, and I believe that it has. I believe with social media, you was able to understand and see a lot more and learn a lot faster. Without social media, you couldn't tell a person about what was going on in another country because they didn't know. They had no way to finding out without looking up National Geographic or something. So you know what I'm saying? Now it's easy. People taking pictures, posting in it, all on social media. Hey, look what I'm doing. I like it. I love it. It's beautiful. Sexy. I feel it and I understand. And it looks beautiful. Time's going on and like I said, 34 states are recreational now. So what is the new what is the new talk? What is the new push in the marijuana industry? Huh? Yeah. Has anybody ever thought about that part now? I've been thinking about that part. I really been thinking about it. I really been thinking about it. So, when we hashtag the red eye, it was to keep underage smoking off social media. I'm never gonna stop promoting that. But now we got a new hashtag the red eye. Hashtag red eye. We need to start advocating for police officers to be able to smoke weed with their gun license. I said it. We need to sit up here and advocate for police officers to be able to smoke with their gun license. Because if police officers are allowed to smoke weed with their gun license, that means you and me, as a citizens, are allowed to smoke weed as gun license and protect ourselves. Yes, I appreciate Pothead Society too for sharing out my content. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that so much. I want to give them a good shout out since they up in here. I appreciate everything that y'all do. I really be pushing this content just to advocate for a better cause for us learning about politics and weed. But now, like I said, let me get back to my subject. There been police officers every day who has a stressed out job, just like you have a stressed out job. Why they can't smoke weed? Now I know a lot of people. You probably don't like cops. Most police most potheads, let me say this correctly, most potheads they don't like what? Police officers. And that's crazy. Would you like a police officer more if he smoked weed? Would you have a little bit more respect for him? You feel like you and him have a better understanding. You feel like you and him have a connection somewhere, huh? A little bit, I feel you if you can say yes, I feel where you're coming from. Because that's how I look at it. I look at it like, look at here. If they had smoked some weed and came to work just a little bit more relaxed or whatever, they'd probably be a little bit more nicer. I'm not gonna say that their days will be better because their days are gonna be just as well as their days if they didn't smoke weed. Okay. So, but let's get to the heart of it. Let's get deep into it. Let's follow me down the rabbit hole. We as potheads are literally the only stable group with a good mind with zero killings, well, technically one killing, that can't protect themselves. Why is we as a community can't protect ourselves? I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. We trying to regulate and legalize and then recreational marijuana, but yet again, we're not thinking about protecting ourselves. We're not thinking about the protection that it takes for us to go through this. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yo, I gotta protect myself. I need that opportunity. There are mass shooting going on everywhere out here in America. Mass shooting. You got war going on, so I can't protect myself. And if a police officer came over and I was smoking weed, let me light my blunt. What? No. Let me light my blunt. Let me smoke some weed with y'all. Let me smoke some weed with you. So yet again, you trying to tell me smoking weed, call the police, I need some help. They come up here, oh man, I can't deal with you because you smoking weed. No, they gotta deal with me because of smoking weed. If I'm getting shot at, and I call the police, hey man, listen, we should call. Look, we should call next time that you're in a discussion. Hey, I'm a pothead smoking weed, and I'm having trouble at sun. See how fast they come. Start announcing yourselves as potheads. I am a legal weed advocate, and I need the police's help. You know what I'm saying? Start making it sound intelligent with it. You know what I'm saying? But they had, I'm a weed advocate, and I need your help. I'm having a break in at 4544 West Cambridge Street, and I need you. I need your support. You know what I'm saying? I need all guns blazing. What's up? Pull up. But yet again, a person without a marijuana license, he can protect himself. And they're gonna look at you, even though you don't have your marijuana license, but you're a pothead and you was in a house and you got a gun, and they see they're gonna tell you're not allowed to have a gun because you smoke weed. Why is it that we can't protect ourselves? Now I feel like we starting to draw another issue. We're easy targets. Hey man, I got this, you know what I'm saying? Somebody who has mental issue who just want to take their issues out on somebody. Hey man, let me go get me a gun. Who the easiest people I can go shoot? Oh, people that got marijuana license. So let me go to states where marijuana license is and just have a good day, have a shooting range, because you know what I'm saying, most people that smoke weed can't protect themselves. They can't. If they do, and they call the police and they get caught and they got weed in their system, they getting their gun license, they damn near finna go to jail, they're getting prosecuted. Now everybody else is becoming a victim, and it's the bad one. So that's what we getting into. Is that the vibe we looking at now? Is that the thrill that we want? That we fought so hard to smoke weed that now that we don't want to protect ourselves. We can't protect ourselves. Not that we don't want to protect ourselves. We can't protect ourselves because of the law. Make that make sense, bro. It's been really starting to bother me lately. Now that I actually seen a report, and it hit me. It really, really hit me. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Yes, this is a real issue. I got my marijuana license. I go down to the corner store. The corner store is getting robbed. I got a gun on me. I can help protect the man from getting his store robbed. I can't do it. I can't do it. I kind of got a problem with that, man. If y'all think that it's gonna be an issue for people like us to protect ourselves, then just I don't know. Is it I don't know, y'all. Think about it, man. Is it okay to be a pothead? Is it safe? Let me rephrase the question. Is it safe to be a pothead? We fighting for a lot of things over here in America, man. We fighting for the freedom. We fighting for the rights. We fighting for legalization. We fighting to leave us alone. We fighting for abortion rights. We fighting for just the homeless to lay in the streets everywhere, all over the place. There's a lot of fighting going on, but yet again, when it comes to protecting ourselves, they want to take away the gun rights because psychopaths or criminals take guns and do what they have to do. Is it right? No. No matter what law that you put in place, is they going to do it again? Yes. So what is the sense of us going through this struggle if only thing that we're going to do is keep going through the same consequences? I am Capiche. That was my talk. That was my roundup talk. Nah, man, I just had to keep it, keep it out here, you know what I'm saying? You feel like we're never safe anymore. And see, that's crazy that people is taking the time out to say, hey, you know what, I don't feel safe. Like that's mad. That is mad crazy that a person can sit up here and say, you know what, check this out. I'm going to the dispensary to give me some weed. I worked hard. I had a stressful day. I want to relax. I want to smoke some weed. But I can't protect myself. Damn near the Uber driver that's in there in the car with you. I'm just saying, if you took an Uber, he can't protect you. Man, I was shooting at this man because we was getting robbed, and this pothead right. Oh man, the pothead, fuck him, fuck them. It's almost like we're not a citizen. It's like, and no offense, don't take this the wrong way, America, or whoever watching this, wherever you're watching this from, but it's like they treat potheads like mental weed patients. But yet again, my question: people that pop pills, they can have guns. People that drink beer, they can have guns to protect themselves. Anybody starting to see like everybody else can protect themselves alone, but what makes us not able and don't have the right to protect? Because we one of the fastest growing industry and everybody can get in it. Everybody can get into the beer industry. Beer industry wide open. What is the real thought of this process when they was legalizing marijuana? Why they wasn't thinking about us and protecting themselves? Why wasn't we thinking about legalizing marijuana and protecting ourselves at the same time? I do not think that saying that legalize marijuana without being able to carry a gun is fair and right here in America. No, that is my new hashtag, the red eye. Hashtag the red eye, to make marijuana users able to carry guns. But yet again, only way we're going to start that march, only way we're going to start that advocate is we got to ask for cops to be able to smoke weed too. Hey, you got to let cops smoke weed first. That's the sneakiest, smoothest way to start this movement. Hey, when it comes to people subjecting themselves to criminal activities, and if you're a criminal activity, you're going to break the law no matter what. Flat out, you're going to break the law. You're going to do what it takes to survive in your mind nature because you are a criminal. You don't care. I'm not coming around here to care about your feelings and think about what I got to think about. No, that's not the situation. But those who think about that, those who don't want to go to jail, those who don't want to go to the penitentiary, they want to protect themselves, they want to see another day, they got kids, they got a family, they want to come home to see their family. How can they protect themselves? They smoke weed. But yet again, you have a police officer. Now, I got to protect the police officers for a minute. You know, because now you got police officers that used to drink, that can't drink no more because they had bad cases, and they have no other way to release stress, and they know marijuana helps. Man, if I can just smoke a blunt. Okay. It has to be some way to like, okay, you can't smoke weed before you come. We're going to take a test before you come to work to make sure you ain't smoking no weed before you came to work. But after work, when you get off, after your shift, yes, you should be able to smoke. To get all that stress, all that agony, all that yelling, all them people that's calling you a pig, you ain't shit, police officer, I'm spitting in your face, you ain't shit. You killed George Floyd. You killed Mike Brown. You killed all these people that this one cop that you're yelling at didn't even care. He was not even around. You just so mad at cops all over the United States of America counts for one person. But they can't smoke weed. And I'm telling you, I'm making this argument. I'm yelling at the screen. I'm making this tribute to them because if they can smoke weed, then we can too. And then we can go get our gun license too. That's why I'm saying this. That's why I'm protesting this. This is why this has to be the next marijuana movement. It has to be. Legalize recreational gun license. Legalize it. Recreational gun license. I gotta find out how to hashtag that. That's the movement, y'all. That's the movement. I really want us to really sit up here and think about this and really put tributes into making that this needs to be where we need to go. I've been watching. Listen here, I'm a human being just like you. I'm not no AI. I'm not rich. I'm not famous. I don't have 1 million watchers or nothing like that. I got a few people that watch. I got steady promote my group and stuff like this. But I fight a fight that people don't think about. And my cousin asked me the other day, why are you a fighter? Because I wasn't able to get in a boxing ring. I wasn't being able to be an MMA fighter. But I was able to know, smart enough to sit here and see the problem with America that I felt was a problem with America and wanted to stand up for it and wanted to fight for it. I found a lane that I can sit in that damn near nobody can almost contest to me in. I feel like not a winner, but I feel like a producer. Like I'm producing content so people can't say that when things happen. I want people to be like, hey man, it was a guy that was talking about politics that was smoking weed. Because this is gonna, I promise you, next year this is gonna be cool. This is what people are gonna be on. Closer that it gets to election, people are gonna be on this tough. And I know people already got their little audience, and that little audience is gonna be, oh man, woo, woo, woo. And I'm like, see, now people in it. And I'm like, I've been doing this. I lost so many eyeballs because I started talking about politics. I started getting deep up into this politics. And all I want to do is just show people. And I start showing people. And it seemed like I scared people away. But yet again, we got 1 year to election. I may not be able to start this now on this ballot, but I gotta move it. I gotta move the needle, y'all. We gotta find a way to hashtag legal, recreational gun license. Gun license is very important for us to get as marijuana users, bro. I feel very strongly on this. I feel like this is the next movement that we need to get ourselves into. If we don't head down this yellow brick road, we're gonna be some innocent bystanders, and it's not gonna be fair. And that's what it's gonna take for this movement to go forward. It's gonna take an innocent bystander to get hit, and y'all gonna be for it, and y'all gonna be down for it. Y'all gonna be like, okay, man, let's do this movement. And I'm be like, see, another movement that I was years ahead of, that I was promoting, that I was always in. Hashtag red eye, gun license for potheads. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's move the needle. Let's find a way to share this content out. Yes, I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. Y'all know where y'all can find me. Hit me up. What do y'all want to talk about now? You know what I'm saying? I talked about this for a good about 20 minutes. What would y'all like to talk about? Is there anything important that's on y'all mind? Because y'all let me keep going. Y'all know I'm finna get back. I'm finna get back into what's going on. Oh, I like that beat though. I like that beat. Uh-huh. 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 Excuse me. I don't mean to be the man that sit in the chair, but I'm staring at the camera right here just to tell y'all, just to declare, I don't want no fear and a gun violence of the people getting terrorists. Is just strenuous with the thing that we go is so vicious. I stepping on toes and they don't know why, because I'm a Bigfoot niggas and I don't tell lies. I'll be on the truth when I step in the booth. When I step on the podcast, I step in the who wants it, who don't need it, who advocated for, who might need it. I just want us to spread it, who don't deceive it. Everybody got their hands out very greedy. That'd be hard. I'll never back down, nigga. I'm on the claim. And some said I went just against the grain to talk about the politics, the politician nets, and seeing all these fake ass punk ass rats. Hey, I'm looking at stats. I'm looking at numbers. That's a well-known fact. Factitious that we falling off the cliff. Gas is going up. Nigga, y'all can't dismiss. And I straight real claim I do this for 2 hours. I don't need no fame. Just a couple more eyeballs to say, yeah, that man's going right, y'all. Smoke a little weed, turn the lights on. Talking about this, get the light grown. Everybody said they need a light bulb. I'm holding on, need a scrub. I need a dub. People hands out and they need a hug. I don't know what's going on when they see a shrug. I light on up. Y'all see the thugs. And what's be going on when you need to pop? I just see this. I unlock. I need the key. I got the Glock. They shoot at my head. Yes, I'm shooting. I'm just saying. Gun license, potheads, man. We need this, man. We need this, man. Bird Live, hashtag red eye, change the viewers I red, keep it underage smoking on social media, keep it underage smoking. off social media, killing myself for your entertainment. I'll be right back. Give me a second. I told you, give me a second. I gotta start playing these little commercials. I got some ads I've been just sleeping on. I gotta make shout out to some people. Shout out to everybody that be sharing my content out and doing what they gotta do. I understand what I do is not easy for you to be a part of. I know a lot of people start set gas. Some people start seeing what I was doing and turned away from it. I'm glad some people actually told me and said, yeah, man, when you start getting into politics, I was a little unsure how it was gonna go. So I stopped watching, I stopped sharing your content out. I was like, man, at least you told me the truth. I highly appreciate that. But that's why I did this. Because I knew this was gonna be hard. I knew this wasn't gonna be easy. I knew this was gonna take people to a level of uncomfortability. But it can be done. I felt like it could be done. I felt like there were things to be discussed that I'd be discussing that's still important, because when I have this discussion with people on an everyday basis, they be telling me like, yo, you know, you talk about some interesting things, because I had these same conversations here I have in everyday life. And they be like, you funny, dog. You hella funny. And I'm like, well, if I'm funny, then go check out my podcast. You know what I'm saying? Because I talk about these things. And if you think they're funny, then come laugh at me on my podcast. You know what I'm saying? Take the time out. It doesn't bother me. It wouldn't hurt me. You know what I'm saying? If you can find a Democrat that can debate me for at least an hour, I'll give you a free gram of wax. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's up? It's nothing. Like I'm in here to really try to show that the things that I talk about are to make a difference, or to try to help us as citizens, black and white, poor, middle class, because rich don't need my help. You see what I'm saying? I just want that. That's all I'm trying to do. I just want to be one of those guys that say, man, he did try to push these narratives and stuff for the potheads. He was advocating for things for the potheads. And yeah, I wanted the potheads to look not just like, oh man, all we worried about is potheads. You know what I'm saying? You can gather us up at a pothead rave and shoot all of us because we don't got our senses. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people really look at us like that today in society. You can take it like that or not. You know what I'm saying? I don't take it like that, because I feel like I try to educate myself every day and all day. You know what I'm saying? And finding things, you know what I'm saying? And protecting myself. So no. But yet again, you go to a pot raid and they start busting back because it was a terrorist attack, then you will have a problem. You'll have a bunch of people with a real bunch of misunderstanding, and people would know where it was coming from or how to accept it. And y'all know that, and I know that. We all know that. So I'm not gonna sit up here and kid with nobody of why I be pushing my narrative and why I talk the way I talk. So, with all of that said, I haven't heard nothing from Vicky.
So you think you know Wix, but do you really?
In a long time. A lot of people still do not know who Vicky Ramaswamy is. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying that's sad. I just think it's funny that this man really came here into America, really trying to make a splash, really trying to make a name for himself, running for presidency. And a good portion of people still don't know who he is. I just think that's kind of funny. I think that's hilarious. I think that's yeah. I would like to see him. I like to see him 4 more years. Would he try to run again and do his name? Now the guy in the middle is Vicky Ramaswamy. He's running for Republican for candidacy to run against Donald Trump and Joe Biden for president of the United States of America. I think he's 38 years old. So if he did win, he'd be the youngest candidate and a president. He has taken America by storm with his charm and his ethnic background. And he has been going around on a bunch of podcasts talking. He's been on a lot of podcasts talking. He's been in the debate. If you watch my debate, which I had 200 people in there watching, I appreciate the biggest audience I have ever set on her since I started doing this. And you got to see him talk. Well, this is something that happened not too long ago. Like I said, I haven't heard Vicky Ramaswamy talking around. I would like to hear what he was talking about, what they was on, just to see, especially in New Hampshire. So I'm gonna get into this.
And they're not making the millions and billions of dollars in Silicon Valley.
Until I found out that we can barely hear them.
They're doing this because they love the country. And I just want to good people, no doubt about it. I just want to stand up for them.
Now this is my problem with here. This is not good content. I can barely hear it. So yet again, I want to hear Vicky Ramaswamy speak, and I can't hear the man talk because hell, I can't even hear the nigga. I'm gonna keep it real. I can't even hear the nigga. I'm not even finished strain y'all. That'd be messed up to strain y'all to hear the thing that I heard better than y'all, and I can barely hear that shit. Okay. Y'all want me to get into some sports stuff? I'm gonna get into some commentating sports stuff. So I'm gonna put the screen back up just a second. Stephen A. Smith. I believe everybody know who Stephen A. Smith is. I know y'all probably looking at the Vice picture, but that's 2 years ago. That's old. I don't want to talk about nothing old if I get into some marijuana stuff. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. You see Stephen A. Smith got a podcast, and you see this guy right here. He used to be on Fox, the black guy, and they really, really been going at each other's throat. For what reason? I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? I understand just people just ain't gonna get along, and you know what I'm saying, that's just the way we are. That's just the way, you gotta handle things. But when you two take shots at each other constantly, I get to thinking to myself, are y'all really doing this for real, or y'all just doing this because in y'all industry there's really nothing else that y'all can talk about? But he's talking about the nuclear option. I'm just so curious why these two be going at each other so hard.
Wait, bestie,
Oh
don't
my
press
God.
that skip button.
Yes, we are.
Are you ready?
Because you just called me something that I don't even know you.
Fat bastard is the exception.
Woo!
That,
hold on, y'all.
Now that person I called the fat bastard is the exception.
See this?
That I'm not backing up from. That fat bastard, I'm just waiting for the moment where he gets my mind in the right place where I want to go nuclear on him.
I want to play you a clip of Stephen A. Smith.
Yet again, why is these two blowing up so hard on each other in this podcast industry? And yes, indeed, I ain't gonna lie to you, they're getting ratings, and really nobody talks about them two. And I'm wondering, like, why don't nobody else talk about them two going at each other? Like, why is they really going at each other's throat? Who you think gonna win? You think they ever gonna get in the ring and box it out? Like, you think they should box it out?
Issuing another warning to me. I don't know. Yeah, I think we talked about this last week when Stephen A. Smith called me fat bastard. He's back at it again. issuing another warning. I want you to help me dissect what's going on here. Let's play the clip of Stephen A. Smith.
When you know how to conduct yourself, you generate revenue. When you generate revenue, you position yourself for more other opportunities. When you flourish, your team flourishes, especially if you're any kind of decent person who is a giver, which I am. And so those are the kind of things that I'm talking about. I see Steph Curry and LeBron James, and then I think about the stuff that they get themselves into. And you know what I discover? Nothing. They don't get themselves into stuff. They don't. So I guess that would mean when I go at Marcellus Wiley, I might not need to do that. When I go at a Dan Le Batard, I might not need to do that. When some other colleague get on my nerves, I might not need to go too far. I might not need to respond to the Kwame Browns of the world and stuff like that. I might not need to respond to every little thing. Now, that person I call the fat bastard is the exception. That I'm not backing up from. That fat bastard, I'm just waiting for the moment where he gets my mind in the right place where I want to go nuclear on him. And at that particular moment in time, endorse.
Is this good for podcasting that they going at it each other? Like he really taking his time out on his podcast show to really go at somebody that has another podcast show and they have their opinions on certain things and they just had their idea thoughts and you should just let his idea thoughts go and your idea thoughts go but if you speak about it, you know that the ratings and I bet you somebody before you really dissect it, you really got to think about, hey, is it really somebody like, hey, you know what? They're telling him to go at it. They're telling them to go at it. They're really telling them to go at it. Stephen A. Smith, I need you to talk about this because if your ratings drop, this is just my idea. If your ratings drop, we're giving your show to what's his name? Shannon Sharp. And y'all know Shannon Sharp is on 2 days a week with Stephen A. Smith, but they have good debates and stuff like that. So in the sports world, you know, you got boxing going on, you got football, hockey, you got all this sports, golf, you got all this sports, but you got these two going at each other's throats.
Companies and potential endorsement deals and advertisers and sponsors and employers like ESPN or anybody that I'm doing business with down the pike, I would ask them to step aside and grant me this one mulligan where I unleash on his sorry, no good ass. That is the only time that I will ask for that. Any other time, I will do my best to control myself and to reel myself in. Because the bottom line is, when you're doing business, it ain't good business to make bad business. On behalf of myself and my team, it's just not the wise thing to do.
Mountain is transforming TV advertising by focusing on performance. And we've got
What do y'all think? What do y'all think? This man said, man, he want all his sponsors to take the time out to really go at this person.
So
it's amazing.
That's Stephen A. Smith. I do want to translate. I believe he said to be granted a mulligan. I think he called it a melligan, but I think he meant to say mulligan. That's a golf term when you get a second shot. Anyway, take it a mulligan. He screwed that up. But other than that, I have a take on this, Cosell, but I want to hear your take before I give my take.
Well, I mean, I'm going to start calling you psoriasis because you've certainly gotten under his skin. I mean, my God. Hey, by the way, Beyonce A. Smith, say his name, say his name. I don't get this. Just say the name, Jason Whitlock. And I get it. You don't have to like each other. You don't have to like him. But this whole declaration that I'm going to go to war and I'm going to put aside things, oh, shove it. Either you're going to do it or you don't. That this isn't really all that important. And Stephen A. Smith is trying to pick his battles. Either you are insulted when people come after you and you go after everyone, or
So yet again, my question back to my audience is yet again, are we gonna? We might well just put hashtag Stephen A. Smith get in the ring, but then all of that what he said, was that a good sell? Was that a good pitch? Was you amped? Was you amped to know who he was talking about? Would you rather hear all of that like watching a good episode of your favorite TV show and they give you this good cliffhanger like who's the bad guy? You got to wait till the 11th episode to find out who's the best bad guy. You're like, dang, I waited all this to find out this was the bad guy. And then you find out that you only got 6 episodes left to find out why this person is the bad guy and why he's doing what he did to you. So you coming out, everybody get to do that investigation. You get in the ring, you have a celebrity boxing match, and you get it over with. Don't that sound a little bit easier and better? A little bit smoother. But the dramatization, you better be getting ratings. You better be building money. You better. You better. I really don't want to hear his commentating. I really want to kind of hear his commentating because since that's who he's talking to.
As it relates to Shannon Sharpe. And so Stephen A is caping up for Shannon Sharpe, probably doing a little caping up for Deion Sanders as well. There's a part, if you go listen to we didn't play the full context because I didn't want to spend that much time giving the full context of what Stephen A, but he talked a lot about people that work for him. He called out specific names of people that work for him. And then, he said he's got to take care of them. And so he's kind of justifying the way he operates, the way that he picks and chooses his battles, the reason he only takes certain positions and plays the game. He's doing this to sacrifice for all these people who count on him. And so there's a game that has to be played. So that's going to be part of his overall narrative. And then, quite frankly, Steve, it's crystal clear that a former employee of mine, Uncle Jimmy, has found a new shoulder to cry on. He's turned away from Curtis Scorn.
Now listen how he responds back, all cool, calm, and collective, not giving it that much attention, but you're still giving it attention because, Stephen A. Smith is making the money. He's bringing home a lot of dough. You're doing your thing. I don't know what he brings home. It's not none of my business. It's just a story that we get to pick and choose because people always say I don't talk about sports. And here I am discussing sports and talking about some real sports attribute for some people who are going at each other's heads behind the scene. Really going at each other's heads on podcasts. For what reason, we would never know. Why? Because I'm going to stick to my guns and say Stephen A. Smith is going to draw it out for as long as he can to build up an audience. He's probably not going to discuss him until like season 2 of his podcast. I'm telling you, watch. I'm gonna be able to bring this up again later on down the road. I'm like, see, told you, still ain't told him about it yet. Still hasn't told him. Will he tell him? Probably not. That's crazy. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, please don't go nowhere.
Recordings.
When a Zoom call gets leaked, we got to hear about it. We got to see. I want to see too. 1.3 million people already think this. We late to the show. We late to the show. Hold on, please don't go nowhere. I appreciate y'all hanging in with me. Now, this audience has been the best audience I've had in a very long time. I appreciate it. And see, I would give shout outs to my audience. I do. Let's see what's up with this leak, y'all. What's up with a Zoom? What was they talking about? Let's go.
female professional soccer player and some sort of woke progressive activist.
It's again displaying our own white supremacy, especially trying to slide into your DMs. Help me, fix me.
Or let me say something else.
Right?
Let me say something else. Because again, I told you I'm an independent people's worker. I'm happy that your people want to give me their money and they want to support me. I'll take it. Thank you. Thank you. Trust me. Thank you. But at the same time, when we start talking about intersectionality, which is white supremacy, which is gender, which is capitalism, Americans. White people, I need you to know that your money will not assuage you from your guilt.
Why would you, as a listen, follow me down this yellow brick road, bro? You see how she like, thank you for the money, thank you for the money, but your white money is not gonna get you from your guilt. Why would you sit up here and take your time out taking people's money to try to depress a race of people? So when they go out here and shoot up a bunch of people, you got people like this black lady down here to thank, because they up here trying to tell them that they're not worthy to be around and they're not worthy to do nothing. They're not worthy to have money. They're not worthy to have the cars. You see, like, what the hell is going on? You see her rainbow colors in the background. So she already brainwashed into the LGBTQ movement. So, you know, that girl need, like what my cousin be telling me about me. She needs therapy for real, because she lets everybody brainwash her. She donates her money to a cause to brainwash her to make her more ill than to fix her. And people are gonna tell me that I'm crazy for doing this podcast to talk about shit like this. Wow. Okay.
Cannot pay your way out of this. There aren't enough reparations in the world that you can pay us. And so you think because you write a check or you slide me something in Venmo that you're absolved, and you can tell somebody, well, I gave Dr. Blay $100. I'm not racist. Dr. Blay is going to spend your $100 and still tell you that you're racist. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Ha ha ha. That was awesome. Was it? Really? That seemed like the opposite of awesome. That seemed honestly like the opposite of progression. You know, again, the same people who label themselves as progressives finding solutions to the world's complex problem.
You think that was staged? You think that was acted? You think that was real? You think that was like a real person? Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, do y'all think that was a real? She's still up there, so I'm talking like she's not up there. You think that white lady really believe that, or she just doing that to help her put on a front so she can get money? Is it really that deep and crazy? Am I tripping to the point of where, oops. I think I'm tripping. Y'all can tell me I'm tripping. It's okay. If y'all think I'm tripping, it's okay, because I think I'm tripping. I think that's an act. I don't think that's real. There's no way something like this can be that damn real. Girl, you acting.
Don't seem to be bringing solutions to the table, but rather more anger, more misery, and more division. You know, for years, these same social activists have been telling us that reparations is a must. Now they're accidentally saying on Zoom calls that actually that reparations would mean nothing, that no matter what white people do, no matter how much they pay in, no matter how much they give in to the white guilt grift, that it'll never be enough, and that actually you're still racist. Does that seem progressive to you? Does that seem like policy and ideology? That's
what he said is well said than I could ever put together. We trying to fix this racial division here in America and move on and be an acceptance so we can get along. But yet again, we're telling people that no matter what we do, y'all still gonna be racist. We still gonna look down upon white people as the scary boogeyman that hides up under our bed that we scared to go outside and work with and work upon it because they're trying to outdo us and lock us in cages and put us on ships and take us to lands and hang us from trees. Yes, I went over dramatic for what reason, I'm sorry. But that's crazy, bro. That people still are gonna think like that and talk like this. Like for real, for real, for real, for real. Like seriously, nah. I can't help promote stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not gonna help us become better people. Like we're not gonna become better people. People are gonna hate on us. People are not gonna like us. People are gonna discourage us and think that what I'm telling you, one day white people gonna fight back, bro. White people gonna fight back, and then what? And then what? I'm like to hear the excuses that y'all got for why they fighting back. Stop playing with me. I do want to hear this Elon Musk story. I like Black Conservative. I'm always gonna say that I like sharing this content because his intent do be on little stories that I don't catch. You know what I'm saying? Like I be trying to catch stories too. So therefore,
Thinking about going solar, but
let me try to catch this story and catch it with you. You guaranteed to always learn something from his breakdowns. For real, for real, for real, for real.
Israel's foreign ministry today is slamming Elon Musk's recent series of tweets saying they have a, quote, anti-Semitic feeling to it. Yesterday, Musk launched a baseless Twitter attack against George Soros, the progressive Jewish philanthropist who's often the target of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Musk tweeted that Soros reminds him of Magneto, a comic book supervillain. Both, of course, Soros and Magneto are Holocaust survivors and Jewish. Musk's reply, he wrote, Soros does not have good intentions and, quote, wants to erode the very fabric of civilization. Soros hates humanity, unquote. Obviously, it's not necessarily anti-Semitic to criticize George Soros, but the tweets do engage, critics say, in tropes that Jews are falsely cast as evil masterminds set out to harm the masses.
Several months later.
Well, he's doing things that erode the fabric of civilization. You know, getting DAs elected who refuse to prosecute crime. That's part of the problem in San Francisco and LA and a bunch of other cities. So why would you do that?
Was it humanity or is it just the United States as a whole? I mean,
he's pushing things in other countries too, not
doing
just
the
here.
same thing.
Yeah. Now, George at this point is pretty old. I mean, he's not, you know, he's basically a bit senile at this point. But I mean, he's very smart. And he's very good at arbitrage. You know, famously, he shorted the British pound. That's sort of how I think he made his first money, was shorting the pound. So he's good at spotting, basically arbitrage, like spotting value for money that other people don't see. So one of the things he noticed was that that
this has what I was talking about yesterday. Please go check out the show I did yesterday. I think that was a good show yesterday that I did. And the day before yesterday, where I am steady talking about this crime rate that's going on in our city because these DAs, these senators, these governors, these mayors are soft on crime. They do not want to protect us. So therefore, I'm keep advocating for these guns. Yes, I'm going to keep advocating for guns because we need to protect ourselves because our state officials don't want to do it. I'm gonna keep saying it. Our state officials don't want to do it. They're not gonna do it. They're gonna keep doing what they think is best, and obviously it's not best because therefore you wouldn't have all these shootings going on where people can't protect themselves. It's time to protect ourselves.
That the value for money in local races is much higher than it is in national races. So the lowest value for money is a presidential race. Then next lowest value for money is a Senate race, then a Congress, and then. But once you get to sort of city and state district attorneys, the value for money is extremely good. And Soros realized that you don't actually need to change the laws; you just need to change how they're enforced. If nobody chooses to enforce the law, or the laws are differentially enforced, it's life-changing.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about.
It's life-changing. So when he said stuff like that to me, what I got out of that myself before he get into his rant, let me see further down the road. Where can we go? Boom. What I got out of that, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, is when you don't enforce crime and you still got all that money sitting up there just chilling because you're letting people out, they're still doing crime. Where all that money going for? To? Like they said, the senators get their money from where they get their money from. The electees get their money to, but like you said, the DAs, when they get down to them guys, the guys that actually do the investigations, remember we did a story 2 days ago where the DA gets robbed, carjacked with his mother? Yeah. He gets carjacked. They found the thief. The dude became a street legend. He told the cop, man, I know where y'all heard you because your boy got. They know who they got when they get you. When they get you, they got you. I know that sounds funny. People laughing like, I can't believe he said that. But that's true, man. Y'all really got to look at that and be like, bro, these people really coming out there and trying to take your head off. For what reason? Because you are the victim. You don't abide by these laws that I abide by. I don't abide by your laws. Fuck your laws. And when they're able to say that, then they can do the crime. Oh, yeah, guess what? I said fuck your laws, and when I get locked up, they're saying fuck the laws too. Why? Because they're letting you out again. With a case is not sticking, he still can go get a quick job, he still go hustle, and he can go find another victim to go rob and do the same thing he just did. Now that people are saying it, now he's saying it on a bigger level. Say, okay, so you already got that going on, ladies and gentlemen. You got that going on. Where's all that money that's sitting at the DNA and at the Congress, and then all this money that's sitting there? Where they spending it? Buying expensive cars, and we're not checking them for not doing their job. That's why government would be mad if we stop paying taxpayers' money. They really cannot lock us up for not paying our taxes. They can't. It's against the law. Which I didn't know, huh? I didn't know that. But we finna get into this and see further into this conversation.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and have a dream that you didn't do it? And your life is infinitely easier?
Well, it's certainly a recipe for trouble, I suppose, or contention.
What was it ultimately that led you to make the decision to do it?
I have come home and I have stood at the base of the steps just dreading the 40 stairs that I have to.
I mean, this is going to sound somewhat melodramatic, but I was worried about that it was having a corrosive effect on civilization. That it was just having a bad impact. I think part of it is that it's where it was located, which is downtown San Francisco. And while I think San Francisco is a beautiful city, and we should really fight hard to kind of right the ship of San Francisco. If you've walked around downtown San Francisco, right near the ex-FKA Twitter headquarters, It's a zombie apocalypse. I mean, it's rough. Have you been?
Did you hear how he described it? A zombie apocalypse. That is one of the dangerous, psychopathical, non-existing minded people. But look, no, you don't want a successful billionaire business around stuff like that. Who wants to live in a society like that? We have the opportunity to clean up our society and clean up stuff like that, but we don't want to clean it. Why do we show that? And then people show that stuff all over the world too. They come here and they show that, like, look at that, look how they show their people, look how they do their people. They do their people so bad on America. They stayed on the street, they do drugs, they just do it. Look at that, look at the people. Come on, man. You got to clean yourself up, man. Man, we can't keep letting this stuff happen. He said apocalypse, man. That's dangerous.
Not lately. No,
Yeah.
I've heard.
It's crazy.
I've heard it's crazy. I've heard you really can't believe it until you actually go there.
You can't believe it until you go there. So now you have to say, well, what philosophy led to that outcome? And that philosophy was being piped to Earth. So, a philosophy that would be ordinarily quite niche and geographically constrained, so that the sort of the fallout area would be limited, was effectively given an information weapon, information technology weapon to propagate what is essentially a mind virus to the rest of Earth. And the outcome of that mind virus is very clear if you walk around the streets of downtown San Francisco. It is the end of civilization.
And it's not just propagating the mind virus, but suppressing any opposing viewpoints.
Yes. Well, in order for the virus to propagate, it must suppress opposing viewpoints. So,
because it doesn't stand up to scrutiny.
Correct.
Yeah. So you see that, you heard that. Elon Musk thinks that the woke mind virus, that's what he means when he says mind virus. He's talked about this before. The woke mind virus is destroying these liberal cities and civilization, okay, which is quite the claim, right? Because, I agree with him. I think that it is, okay? And these ideas, like he said, don't stand up to scrutiny, and that is why the far leftists go out of their way to try to censor opinions that disagree with theirs. Because, again, in the free market of ideas, their ideas do not hold up to scrutiny. And because of that, again, they try their best to censor any opposing points of view, which is what the Twitter platform was before Elon Musk bought the platform. Because according to him, Republicans were censored at 10 times the rate than Democrats. Twitter was essentially an arm of the government before it was bought by Elon Musk.
What was that like? Because that, to me, that was the most bizarre, was the Twitter files. When you let Schellenberger and Matt Taibbi and all those guys get in the Twitter, and the response where Matt Taibbi gets audited. I mean, which is just wild. I mean, it's just so blatant and so in your face.
Yeah, it's weird. No, I mean, the degree to which, and by the way, Jack didn't really know this, but the degree to which Twitter was simply an arm of the government was not well understood by the public, and it was whatever the official government. I mean, it was like Pravda, basically. It's a state publication is the way to think of old Twitter. It's a state publication.
And was the justification from their perspective that they are progressive liberals, they have the right intentions, it's important that they stay in power, the progressive liberals stay in government and power, because this is their...
There was basically oppression of any views that would even, I would say, be considered middle of the road. But certainly anything on the right. I'm not talking about like far right. I'm just talking mildly right. The people like Republicans were suppressed at 10 times the rate of Democrats.
That's crazy. And I still feel like right now till this day, that's why my page is suffering the way that it suffered, because it suffered through exactly what Elon Musk said. Because I was a far right or mid-right or whatever the fuck they want to call me, it made sure that nobody could see my content. I lost probably all my people that supported me and thought, because I used to have support like a bunch back in the day. I also had people that disagreed with me too, but it was also the fun of the debate, of the talk, of the conversation. I had serious conversations. We had serious conversations over here. And I appreciate doing that, and I miss doing that. And I feel like we don't have that type of structure no more because of this right here. This right here is the biggest problem right there. And I wish there was some way that I could figure out how to break that and bring my audience back, because we was popping, Burn Live was popping. We had some of the hardest people up in here, some of the gangsters people, you know what I'm saying? We used to give out nicknames to people and really have people really interact. And that's how we showed that, that's how I showed that you was a part of me. Like, if you put enough content that where I had to read that, you got a nickname. That's why we got Smack Smack, Bubble Butt, First Lady, DJ Ghost, Cyclops Cholo. A lot of people got a lot of names and came through and got a lot of names and different things because of the attribute and the time that they put in. And I feel like I said, the higher ups really took the time out and went out their way and said, you know what, we're going to destroy what this man got going on because he's a Trump supporter. And they killed and they took away. And I'm sitting up here working hard every day, bringing you content that would never happen. I would never build the type of audience that I want to build, because you got a government that want to suppress my type of content because they don't like what I talk about. I'm taking the black people away from the Democratic Party. They saying like I am a problem, I am a threat. That's crazy to believe and think and see, and was just told, and you just heard by Elon Musk himself. You just heard by Elon Musk himself. What more do you need? Now, I just found this other story right here that I want to discuss. I got maybe like 15 minutes left, so I definitely want to get into this story right here and break this down and see what this is all about, and see what's cracking, because I think this is interesting. Y'all see the money down there. Y'all see the money.
But we want to start with some extraordinary and really important and really harrowing new reporting in the New York Times that puts, unfortunately, the very real possibility of a second Trump presidency into some pretty alarming and specific perspective. This piece details Trump's very specific plan to take a wrecking ball to the rule of law in the United States should Trump return to the White House, with a structural remaking of the executive branch's legal norms. From that new reporting, quote, close allies of Donald Trump are preparing to populate a new administration with a more aggressive breed of right-wing lawyers, dispensing with traditional conservatives who they believe stymied his agenda in the first term. The allies have been drawing up lists of lawyers they view as ideologically and temperamentally suited to serve in a second Trump administration. Their aim is to reduce the chances that politically appointed lawyers would frustrate a more radical White House agenda, as they sometimes did when Trump was in office, by raising objections to his desires for certain harsher immigration policies or for greater personal control over the Justice Department, among others. That means no Bill Barr, no Pat Cipollone, no Jeffrey Rosen, all of whom were very willing to work for the ex-president till the very end, very willing to enable him in all sorts of misadventures. But they drew the line at the coup, at overturning the results of the election using baseless claims of election fraud. Watch.
I made it clear I did not agree with the idea of saying Neil Olin and putting out this stuff, which I told the president was bull. And, I didn't want to be a part of it. And that's one of the reasons that went into me deciding to leave when I did.
It's fair to say that I agree with Attorney General's bar that
Attorney General Barr's conclusion on December 1st, yes, I did, and I supported that conclusion.
So now Trump's allies want more lawyers like Jeffrey Clark. He's the guy who faces felony charges for trying to take the reins of the Justice Department in the final days of the Trump administration and lend DOJ's credibility to Trump's lies about the 2020 election. New York Times reports that should Jeff Clark manage to stay out of prison, he would, quote, most likely be in contention for a senior Justice Department position in any second Trump administration. The key litmus test here, whether you're willing to do whatever it takes to act on Trump's paranoid and dangerous conspiracies and impulses. The Times reports this, quote, they want lawyers in federal agencies and in the White House who are willing to use theories that more establishment lawyers would reject to advance his cause. This new mindset matches Trump's declaration that he's waging a, quote, final battle.
But a lot of theories and a lot of threats comes from the higher up when the FBI, like I did a story yesterday about the FBI actually coming to the Senate and letting you know there has been small terrorist attacks done over here in America. I bet you people that's watching the show don't know nothing about that, have heard nothing about that at all. So therefore, I do want somebody in the White House that takes threats when they come across their table a little bit more serious and looked into and investigated to make sure that this doesn't escalate on our land. So therefore, I kind of agree with Trump. Listen here, these news, that's why I love covering the news and stuff, because how much they discredit Trump. I'm like, no, I don't care what they say. The more they say things about it, the more you think about it, like, hold on, wait a minute. That was the problem in the first place. That's how this and this happened, because y'all hear a threat and y'all don't act on it. That man in Maine had plenty of opportunities to get checked on and talked about with the threats that was going on. Yes, I don't want to hear from nobody. It's documented that his wife, loved ones, sisters, and brothers, and everybody all complained that, hey, you know what, he's starting to hear voices. He was denied on trying to get a silencer, right? There should send some FBAs. I need some people to go out to check this man. But they didn't, and they won't, and they can't, and they won't think about it and stuff. So you need somebody that's going to be a little tough on crime. Yes, I want that here in America.
Against demonic enemies populating a deep state within the government that is bent on destroying America. More than any legal policy statement on his campaign website, retribution may be the closest thing to a governing philosophy for Trump as he seeks a second term. I want to start with his threat against Mark Milley, because I think it's important to have a specific example of what these lawyers would carry out. Now, David Jelly, his threat against Mark Milley is to hold him accountable for treason, a crime punishable by death. I don't know any of these names, and I want to be very careful not to put this list on a right-left continuum, because what Trump had last time were individuals on the far right of a right-left continuum. This is more democracy, autocracy, rule of law, disregard for rule of law that the reporting suggests he's grabbing for, because the lawyers last time allowed him to enact a Muslim ban, or at least try a few times to do so. The lawyers last time enabled him to direct the Justice Department in ways that journalists like Katie are still investigating and reporting out. The firing of Jeffrey Berman, the investigation of Democrats, efforts to prosecute Andrew McCabe, efforts to prosecute Jim Comey. And just because they were not successful doesn't mean that he didn't have people around him more than willing to try, or incapable of stopping or slowing those urges. We're talking about
the more and more they try and people are not getting off of the charges that they want to convict Trump on, what is that letting you know about his time? They trying to say that, okay, so he tried and got off. So if he get into the White House, that Trump is going to go after everybody that went after him. I would go after some people that went after me, but you know, there's still very important things that you got to take care of. Quit trying to point him out as being one of the worst bad guys that you ever seen. Like he's just going to be, y'all just trying to make him seen as the terrorist that people are looking for. Like on my mama. Like that's how y'all really paint this picture. And that shit is really kind of funny to me that you would take the time out to really paint somebody as a picture like that. I'm really gonna paint him as that. He's the biggest bad guy out there in the game.
About next level. And again, using the example of what he has said he would do to Chairman Mark Milley, what do you think that means?
Yeah, Nicole, I think starting with Mark Milley is appropriate because it starts and ends, the analysis does, with Donald Trump's interest in threats and retribution. And I think you could also title that article, What If Stephen Miller is the Next Attorney General? Because whether or not he is, I presume he could not pass Senate confirmation, but that's exactly the type of person that Donald Trump looks to elevate into roles of great constitutional consequence. And so then I think the follow-on question is, what if American politics has changed forever? What does that look like? A president who uses the office and puts people in place for a couple of reasons. One, for a scorched earth agenda that is sure ideological, but in Donald Trump's world, ideology is also kind of the white nationalistic throwback where the principles of equity and equal rights are abandoned. But secondly, what about an enemies list? Because I think that is part and parcel to this as well. If you are saying that Donald Trump is going to put people around him, which is clear, who will advance his personal autocratic interests as well as an ideology that is toxic, you can't actually do that without also saying he's going to have people around him executing against an enemies list. And I think among those who have been kind of never Trump detractors, and this should include many in the press today, what does it look like if American politics has changed forever? It starts with changing how law enforcement.
Boy, they really at that boy. They really at that boy. They really at his throat. They really trying to get him convicted. It's amazing how many people really want him to go down. Like y'all really want him to go down like that. Oh, what is this? Curious.
And in the long run, that is going to make Israeli civilians less safe, not more safe. It breeds more extremism. But I just think it's so destructive, so stupid. We're not thinking critically and strategically about how to help our ally Israel while also preventing the reproduction of more extremism.
Guys, and welcome back to Mika.
That was a good argument right there. I seen that show and I just seen how she was finna present herself. I was like, Yeah, I'm not gonna hold y'all too much longer. It got some good basketball games going on, sports are going on. There's still bad Israel striking Gaza camps. As y'all see on my board, it's really going down everywhere you look. It's not a pretty picture. I'm just gonna leave it right here. I wish one of these.
In several weeks. Meanwhile, as the humanitarian crisis intensifies, Jordan recalled its ambassador from Israel today. Dina Kraus reports.
Hundreds of Palestinians holding dual citizenship left Gaza Wednesday, including some Americans, through the Rafah border crossing into Egypt. Ambulances filled with dozens of injured Palestinians were also allowed to leave. Headed into Gaza, more humanitarian aid, though health officials say the supplies are still just a fraction of what's needed for the millions of civilians living in the Hamas-controlled territory, which has been almost completely cut off since the brutal terror attack on Israel last month. The humanitarian breakthrough comes as Israel intensifies its military operations in Gaza. Hamas says Israeli missile strikes on the northern Jabalia refugee camp killed and injured dozens of civilians. Israel says the strikes killed dozens of Hamas fighters, including a senior commander, and destroyed a tunnel complex. In Jerusalem, mourners gathered for the funeral of one of at least 16 soldiers Israel says have been killed since the start of the ground invasion. While in Tel Aviv, sirens warned of incoming rockets, sending Israelis running to shelters. Israelis we spoke to say every day is a struggle with the heartbreak and anxiety war brings.
You have to take a deep breath to fill the lungs with breath, with air.
To feel life.
To feel life, to go on.
Local markets here are much emptier than usual as Israelis try to find their own way to live through a war they're being told will be long and difficult.
That's sad. Man, this is why I just wanted to cover it a little bit so people can't say I don't cover. But it's just sad that what you see that's going on. You see that argument where, like I said, one side wants to survive and then you want to genocide the other side. I think that's not fair. That's why I really don't really try to talk on it too much. Is really getting to a point to where it's getting sad, and it's really getting to a point to where it's getting unsafe. Y'all, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. We did a good job, man. Appreciate it. Love it to death. Can't wait to see y'all the next time. Cannot wait to see y'all the next time. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Next time I see y'all. Peace.